everybody, I'm Katallina, and today we're here to talk about episode 8 of Tower of God Season 2. This was a strange transitional episode, and it was broken into 3 different parts that kind of moved back and forth among themselves as we went through it. There were parts that were focused on or directly about an AI called Emily. There were parts that were about Bomb's team, and there were parts that were about Kuhn's team. And it seems like everybody is trying to get to something called a workshop battle, where different teams of regulars are going to be able to fight each other for different items. And my gut says that we are going to see these characters moving toward this point where these 2 teams may well intersect. This was interesting but confusing because we were dealing with so many different people and so many different situations at once. So I'm going to try and break them down one at a time just to try and keep things a bit more simple and straightforward here as we chat about this. First, let's talk about Emily since she opened the episode. It seems like Emily is some kind of semi-sentient AI, that she is trying to obtain some form of humanity, and that she wants to experience a great love. I particularly thought it was cute and funny when she was actually asking a little girl, I think her name's Mincing or something, I don't know how to pronounce it properly though. But Emily was asking her about that, and I'm thinking, oh boy, are you asking the wrong person, because she's just a little kid. And then we also see an interesting interaction where Emily is being used by Kuhn's team, and Kuhn is not happy about it. And the guy who was using Emily for a test ends up leaving his phone with Kuhn, and then Kuhn uses it, and I don't know whether we get this here. I know that there is stuff going forward. Kuhn uses it for something. I'm not going to say what because we don't actually necessarily see it here, but it's interesting. I can assure you of that. We also see something at the very end of the episode that was creepy as hell. It seems that somebody is connected into some kind of cybernetic or aurora chair, or I don't even know what that would be. But it seems like they're somehow connected to Emily or something. And they are flipping the actual hell out. And they are like, you will never be human. And Emily is like, oh yes, I will. So something is definitely going on there, and it'll be interesting to see whether we find out any more about that, because it was super freaking creepy. The next major thing that we can talk about is the fact that Kuhn's team is on some kind of test, and the main characters that we see from his team are the speedster guy and the guy who uses lightning strikes with the pale hair. I cannot remember the names, I am so sorry, but they are working together and they end up fighting against mole people. And the whole situation was really cool because the speedster guy is actually using the Emily app, and that's how they actually find the moles. And then the guy with the silvery hair fights the enemies that come out, and it's speedster dude who zips down the pass and gets to the button and wins. But despite the fact that he wins, Kuhn is ultimately unhappy with him for utilizing this device without consulting with everyone and making sure that everybody on the team is okay with it. And you don't want Kuhn mad at you. So that was not good. We also see an interaction between this guy and Rachel, where Rachel actually in passing says that she envies his ability to move and that she wishes that he could be her legs, which, given the kind of moral compass that Rachel has, my guy might want to actually watch out for his literal legs, because if she could find a way to chop them off, I think she would. So the fact that he's all like, I didn't hear what you said, could you say that again? And she's like, oh no, never mind. Watch your back, sir. Watch your back, because holy crap. It's not even that she can't walk, as we know. It's that she has painted herself into this corner, into playing a role, and that she's frustrated at her own limitations. But she might actually do something to this dude out of spite, because that's the kind of character she is. The last group that we need to talk about, of course, is our main group, who are also going through a test and who are dealing with a different kind of situation. And I found this really interesting because it's cool to see how they are utilizing different characters within the group based off of strengths, weaknesses, and skills to actually succeed as a unit, despite the fact that they do have some very vulnerable members with some obvious limitations. We see some different illusions being used. We see people with better attack skills using those at the correct time. We also see a bunch of blustering and bullshit from Zhao Wanyan, especially when he's dealing with that redheaded guy who has the fire. I'm sorry, but when they kept calling Zhao Wanyan chirpy and comparing him to this yellow-haired bird, all I could think of was the Beatles' "And Your Bird Can Sing," because holy crap, all Zhao Wanyan was just doing is just running his mouth over and over trying to convince this guy that he literally was chirpy, only to find out that the guy ended up deep frying his frickin' chicken because he was hungry. So that did you a whole lot of good, didn't it, bubs? But yeah, it was fun. And then of course we see Bomb show up with his whole ability set and everything, and we see Bomb and this guy end up facing off, and this guy is all like, yeah, I've got triple abilities, and then Bomb has 5, 6, 7, some crazy ass number, and it just goes the way you would expect, and he just gets absolutely plastered. And then they try to convince them to fight against them in a different way, and Bomb's just like, no thank you, I do not fight pointless fights. And I love that about him. He has power, he has the ability to do things, but because he's someone who has that ability, he showcases something that many people who have talents or skills in dangerous things tend to portray, which is that they don't actually want to do it. And I love that about him. So this was a pretty good episode overall. It was a bit more convoluted than what I'm used to. This show is usually much more focused than this. But I mean, from what I was listening to as we were going through this, it seems to me like we're 5 years or so, or 2 or 3 years, or some such time gap further in than what we were previously. We've been at this for a while, from what I can gather. Someone please correct me if I have that wrong. And it seems like we have moved forward from where we were, and we are trying to get to the 30th floor for this event, and that will hopefully cause us to unite with Kuhn and his people, and we'll get to see what will happen from there. But those are just my thoughts on the episode. I'd love to know what you guys are thinking, so feel free to drop a comment below and let me know, and I'll talk to you guys in the next video. See you later. Bye!